Yeah, so the context of these meetings is that I would like to still use third dimension tools and types of sector of exploration connected with our deepest hurts and traumas and repression and strategic patterns that prevent us from being real. So I still very much like to investigate those and explore those. Let's say there is some need, at least for me and other people, to kind of not go straight for the throat, not go straight from, let's say, busyness or, doingness to rapid fire. So also I'm like trained with Hakomi before I came to KI, which is awareness-based psychosomatic processing, which was like, in order to get to the subconscious, we need to slow it down a little bit and to drop in and to quiet the mind a little bit and tune into our true what's always here, this presence. So as this presence is here, not as a way to bypass our stuff, but as a way to have that as a foundation from where we explore. We are from presence, and also the mind is more quiet, so then it's easier to see, or the stuff will be easier to be stirred, will be easier to be handled. So I like to do that. So and he told us, Scott, like, hey, you guys do whatever you feel you want to do, but don't do it like me. So I'm going to try to not do the meeting like Scott. All right, so how it will look like, technically speaking, is that I still want to use, vulnerability inquiry and body-mind mirroring, and like to use this intentional rapid fire. I'd like to use and it's essential. I think most of you or all of you are really familiar to keep the attention if there is any stirring in the body, as we are going to do some guided group inquiry. If there's any stirring in the body, any files are evoked by these things, to keep the attention in the somatic sector, and to rapid fire throw those words, I'm sad, I'm afraid, I hate you, get away from me, whatever, to throw those words like a missile into the center of that somatic experience, so we don't just repeat things in the head. Yeah. So I'll just use the usual third dimension tools. Yeah. What I will do slightly different is that maybe at the beginning and at the end, and maybe from time to time, I will remind ourselves that, hey, okay, there's this stuff that's intense, there's energies, there is things there, but there is that in which they appear. Yeah, the squales, or the bear that Scott likes to call the bear that we poke. I find it useful to, as we are dealing with intense energies, to sometimes take refuge beginning and at the end, especially at the end, or sometimes to remind oneself experientially that there is more to me than like yucky energy and there's like fear or sadness or sensation. So I want to point to the presence, which is aware, which is hearing these words, not as a way to bypass, but as a way to face things from the right location. Okay, this in terms of technical stuff. I am planning to start with a little guided dropping in and guided inquiry, and you guys you want to share what comes up, put it in a note. And at the end of the exercise, we can share what came up for us and things like that. Yeah, so we'll share at the end. Now, in terms of, because all of these third dimension meetings, they are about trauma and repression, and that's what we are doing here, freeing ourselves from this, in those places where we have the most sense of dissatisfaction, fulfillment, resistance, lack, in those pockets. So all the trainers or all the green check mark facilitators will tackle that. I chose to look at one sector of our subconscious, and I called it the wound of love, unwinding the wound of love. So I am going to do a series of meetings, I think once a month or twice a month, and I'm going to stay with the same topic. So that's what I would like to do. We are using whatever third dimension tools and practices, that's all fine, but I would like to stay on the topic of unwinding the wound of love, because this is practical for me. This is very experiential. I'm interested the most in this area. This area, it creates the most suffering in my life. And so this term, the wound of love, appears in some non-dual tantric tradition called, connected to Adida and some of his successors. I personally am not, for some strange reason, a big fan of Adida. I'm trying to get into it more, to be more open, because I studied with someone who I benefited from, who was a student of Adida. But anyway, so I don't fully understand this concept of the wound of love, but somehow I use this term. And in a nutshell, the idea is that somehow it's almost like Buddha said, life is suffering, life is dissatisfaction, there is suffering here, and there is a way out of suffering. So this wound of love, in these teachings, they say that in this dimension here, there's going to be suffering connected to getting close to people. So we're going to, first of all, everybody we love is going to die. And our body is going to die, and everybody's going to die. We're going to lose everybody we are close with. So, and this change and impermanence. Yeah. So this in itself is unavoidable. So basically, there is some brokenheartedness in that. And I don't want to be like, hey, well, the consciousness is immortal and then nothing dies. It's just like this. I think that this bypasses, and we are fooling ourselves, not wanting to feel some brokenheartedness embedded in the existence. Now, also in terms of wound of love, I'm also a psychotherapist in the mental health system. There's so-called attachment wounds, and there's this attachment theory. It's an important theory. And between you and me, initially it was called it love wounds, or the love theory, the gentleman who created this, but then he was advised by his peers to change it because it's too wet. It's not professional. You can't speak about love. So let's call it attachment. So anyway, so in this love wound and attachment wounds is anything to do with, let's say, the child ideally needs this continuity of loving care and stability and safety and belonging, and a sense that mom is nurturing and dad is stable. And we ideally need that. The tiger needs that, the deer needs that in some way, and the human baby needs that. And somehow not all of us, very few of us have had that. So in attachment wound or attachment trauma is anything to do with, let's say, somebody died or left or abandoned us, early on, or somebody died or left or abandoned us many times, especially when we were younger in the stage of development. We were somehow hurt by the people closest to us. We were we did experience hurt in most of the time in connection with people closest to us. So all of those created in almost all of us some sense that, and in me, I can't trust love. I'm closed to love. There's something dangerous about love, closeness. Now, also to have, so let's say, a good relationship or good conscious relationship is very, very hard. There are so many programs against it. First of all, the program that well, if I get this, it's going to fulfill me and make me happy. If I only meet the one, it's going to make me happy and fulfill me. That is a very big sabotaging program. It's not going to work. There's also, in order to have a good relationship, one needs to be comfortable being vulnerable, showing how I feel, being open and honest, expressing what I feel, feeling what I feel, expressing what I feel, allowing myself to be seen, vulnerability, openness, transparency, being comfortable with closeness. So, and a lot of the people I work with and myself, I'm not absolutely comfortable with that. So anyway, I would like to bring to inquiry and this series of meetings anything to do with that, guys. Anything to do with fear of closeness, fear of loss, fear of loving, difficult to express, difficult to let it in. All kind of blockages around that, yeah? So I came from more like a awareness kind of guy, awareness, fourth way, Zen, who am I, non-duality. I wasn't traumatized by non-duality. I attended a meeting the other day, and there's a lot of bad experience in non-duality. I want to say I love non-duality. It helped me to. I got a decent version of non-duality and some decent non-dual teachers that helped me to really grok this, that about that I'm not Mihai and I'm this which is aware, and it allowed to have some good understanding of the relationship between that which is aware and all that is, you know. So as for me, it was an opening, and it was a liberating, and yeah. And at some point I became aware that some of my deepest, most persistent programs, patterns, which were playing out in relationship, that the non-duality pointers and the teachers, they were inadequate, and they kept telling me certain things. And at some point I was like, dude, no, I need some other type of work. This is not enough. So, you know, I found out that it's not enough. I need to do more surgical stuff, but I have a good experience with non-duality. However, so my past and my whatever pursuit of awakening had this, looking back, I took refuge in a dry version of spirituality. Dry, like where I was involved with concepts like consciousness, witness, presence, self, whatever. But I wasn't, I had some like irkiness around God and love that I was like, what's that supposed to mean, you know? So anyway, and more recent times, maybe a few months ago, as a result of brokenheartedness and loss, and historical triggers at Scott calls it. There were some historical triggers, some events happened that brought a lot of deep feelings and a lot of hey, I can't do this, man. A lot of this humbleness. I can't do this. I need help, and I'm look for some higher power or something. Anyway, and some interesting psychedelic journeys. So I had I don't want to say awakening, but I had the insight that started me on this like a few months pilgrimage. I'm in this pilgrimage basically now, connected to anyway. So the insights were that I realized that I hid behind these ideas of non-duality, consciousness, witness, presence. And then I was doing practices. Now I am doing practices, consciousness practices, techniques all the time, doing techniques, unpacking this, doing that, doing on my own. I was doing on my own. And somehow I understood deep down that although being on a path for decades, I was not trusting God. Even the word God was like, it's not kosher. So I saw that, and that I didn't trust God fully. I didn't trust love. I didn't trust my fathers. I didn't trust my own father. I didn't trust my father, my mother's love. Therefore, I didn't trust God. I didn't trust love. And therefore, it's a big cap on my spiritual attainment and whatever if I don't trust God and love. So it kind of hit me, and I started to embark more of an exploration around this. So that's a little bit of a context. Also, they say in various teachings, and I deeply once understood that, but I didn't capitalize on it, is that they say the word I and the word God and the word love are one and the same. So that which is aware right now, and it's not just dry awareness, there's a loving, sweet nature quality to it. So somehow it's not love different than awareness. It's not different things. Awareness and love is different things. So I understood that. I forgot it, and then I forgot about it. But so now I'm interested to explore here. And if my awareness has this quality of being flat or bored or dry, there's something fishy about it. And anyway, in the last period, and doing repression work, actually doing a lot of sadness, grief, loss, repression. Yeah, I understood basically that, when we repress sadness or fear or sadness or anger, people have one of these things. We have no choice but to squelch joy and love. There's no way around it. It's like one river. The emotional body is one river. And I could see that for me, I had some anger repression and stuff, but what seemed deeper than that was the deep refusal to feel loss and grief. And so last period this unpacked, so I had a lot of intense grieving and wailing from the present and all the past. And anyway, so result of that, I could see that I held back love all my life. I held back love, and actually one of the deepest regret is that I didn't allow to love fully. My love was selfish, needy, or wanting, personal, and somehow I could see that there was a so I'm very interested to I'm very interested to be able to deconstruct the cap. I felt I had a cap on ability to love. And so I'm interested to deconstruct that. And whatever is in there, whatever is not safe, it's dangerous, it's going to go away, it's going to hurt me, whatever. It's in that protection thing. I'm interested to do whatever work necessary in order to allow the love which is in us. There's love in us, and it's there's a cap on it. And yeah. And when I mean love, okay, let's say some of us here are in relationships, like intimate relationships. Some of us are not interested in intimate relationships. That's fine. Some of us have friends. So you can apply these inquiries we are going to do, whether you are in a intimate relationship or you are in a partnership, or you would like to date but you are afraid, or I don't know, you haven't been for a long time and you consider, but not right now because you think that I'm too fucked up, but later. So we can use all of these inquiries or any situation you have. Ultimately, I stand behind my words that no, it's not that, oh, now I'm going to love and then I'm going to meet a wonderful woman and I'm going to love her, it's going to make me happy and it's so wonderful, like, oh, that's not what I mean. Ultimately, I feel that no relationship, no woman, no man is going to fill us with love, and it's all going to be good. So no, it's more like within us, there is the presence, there is love and peace and stability within us underneath the trauma repression. So I would like to rescue that. And in terms of loving, there's this teacher, Isaac Shapiro, whom I like. He says this: can you meet this moment as the most beloved? To meet this moment, to treat the now as the most beloved. So then that's what I would like to have the context for our unwinding the wound of love or blockages to love. Yeah, people, relationship, friends, partners, wives. But ultimately to uncover this capacity, like as we were kids, to enjoy, to love God as each moment. Anyway, you don't like God, you didn't like God, so you can change it with source, the infinite, absolute, whatever you want, the Tao. All right, so I would like to go a little bit in dropping in a little bit of guided inquiry. Or maybe, how about, let's say, let me open to let's open to any comments or questions. I said a lot of stuff now, so let me open to anything you guys want to say for a few minutes before we go into inquiry. And I'm planning to go until 9:30. Yeah, 9:30.
Yeah, thanks, Mihai. Beautiful. For me, it's the relationship with myself. I've not been in a relationship for over 10 years. And all my life has been trying to connect and do it again, try to get what I can get from another. There was a point in a breakup I had where it was just retching. My breakups are awfully hard. They're tough. They're, it's like losing a child. I know what that's like. I was inside of it, just hard cry, wretched. And I noticed something, that the heart opens, just like the heart opens in the beginning of the relationship. It can open at that wretched time too. And that really, I was sort of out of body when that happened. And that's what I'm looking for. And I'll get it any way I could get it. It was like really quite a revelation. But that's truly what I'm interested in the connection to me. Somebody, I just posted something that someone had an inquiry. Someone had suggested what's in the way of having a perfect moment right now, a perfect day, a perfect life. What's in the way right now? So right on. I'm right with you. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it seems like the sense of lack. There's some energetic, existential sense of lack, or something is missing, or something is not quite right. What non-dual teachers would talk about, but then they will leave it vague. But what we know is that if I sense any sense of lack, something is missing, something is quite wrong, and I was like, where is it? Now, it's now, something is off. Then I'm going to find some energies, and there's probably some pocket of resisted emotional energy or program, you know. Yeah. Anyone else wants to share or question anything?
Yeah, hi Mihai.
Hi.
I just want to thank you for taking this topic on with us, and I've been following you over the months, and we've known each other for a while. I would love to say I'm successful with this. I am successful at failing. So I I've had a lot of relationships. I've been married, and like Mark says, he's been alone. I think he said 10 years. I think it's been 6 for me, or 7, where I haven't even gone out dating or anything. And before I got here to KI, it was just a really big challenge to even like myself. So after being here a little over a year, I do love myself, and love myself enough to invest in myself. So this offering, and following what you've been through personally, just really opens up an opportunity for me to see what's possible. I'm just always interested in anything that's new. So I'm really appreciating you doing this and looking forward to it. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Have you guys tackled this already? Just as a regular repression. I remember that it when Scott months and months and months ago was bringing repression work, and I had all this list of like, well, I can. Have you guys tried this? I can about love. I could feel and express love and affection freely in that family. You can even have the love on the litmus test, love and affection. Or have you ever, guys, anybody played with that prior to this meeting? In terms of using the KI tools? Okay.
I have, and I have because I've done it with you. One thing I want to say that I'm seeing really clearly this morning, listen to you talk, is there's a double bind here. There's always the carrot, like my life will be better. I will be happy when I can be in this relationship with this all elusive, perfect person. Mm-hmm. And I don't trust. So both of those programs are strong and keeping me from being able to step into a relationship wholly and fully in love. And I always would tell myself, oh, when I love myself, maybe when I'm loving myself, I'll be able to feel someone else's love and trust. And when I'm loving myself, then I'll attract the person that can meet me there. But yeah, we just want to share that I can see it really clearly this morning, maybe more than ever.
Yeah.
And hoping to unpack the double bind.
Yeah. I remember that I was once, I think, with one of the KI facilitators, we were both reading this book about attachment styles, you know, about the anxious attachment and avoidant attachment. And I read those books before, but I was like, hey, we can. So basically, we started to create a reverse inquiry for avoidant, to bring up more the avoidant thing, and some reverse inquiry for anxious. And yeah, so Nicole, for that, I think a prerequisite for having a healthy, sustainable partnership or relationship is to do a lot of this inquiry. I think Scott was doing it at the beginning based on Eckhart Tolle's statement that relationships are not meant to make us happy. So that's a good inquiry to use. I have no man, no woman, no relationship is going to make me happy. Or if you find someone that you're interested, oh, Joe is not here to make me happy or fulfilled. I'm not expecting all my problems to be solved through that. So just to bring to awareness this childlike program, like Disney infused program of the one. Yeah, that's the avoidant attachment, but I think it's embedded in the culture. This program of that there's the one, I'm going to find the one, and then it's going to be okay. So somehow that doesn't work like that. So that's not going to be okay. So using those inquiries to tackle that aspect. Yeah, and then as for the other one, is things like it's safe to love. I'm not afraid to love. I can trust love fully. I even have people here. I can let a woman into my life. I can let a man into my heart, into my life. I can be fully open to love and closeness. Yeah, so these are inquiries to bring up both of those sides, both the programs of wanting to be fulfilled, as well as the distrust. Maria?
I was doing a Sufi meditation last night, and it essentially begins with saying these words out loud. I turn my attention to my heart, and my heart turns its attention to the divine essence. And immediately I had compulsions to do something, to think about something, to do something else. And it was like a lot of inquiry, maybe 2-3 hours. I found a lot of sadness and attachment to the thoughts, and the deficiency story was I'm abandoned, alone, and unworthy of love. But that then gave me like another story that I need to suffer, that like my lack of joy and love growing up was because my role in the family was take on the burden of everything. I was the scapegoat, like everything was heaped on me. So somehow I've attached to this role of I need to suffer. And I'm uniquely, God loves everyone. Everyone can be forgiven and loved and held and given joy. But I'm uniquely defective, and I'm uniquely broken and cannot be restored. So I wonder if if that's like a common link, the need to suffer or to fulfill that role, especially with the attachment and being neglected and abandoned in the family. So.
Yeah, I think they have even in 12-step groups, they warn people that this danger of being unique, there's like the disease of terminal uniqueness. We all feel that I'm particularly fucked up, and it seems like the ego believes it's uniquely damaged in some way. Hey, I have this too, actually, Maria, and I've seen in other people. I've noticed recently this program of I deserve to be punished. I deserve to suffer. And I don't usually have this mean, nasty voice, like nasty, negative, you know, bad parent internalized. And I was surprised to see, as I was doing utility of different of these things, that I need to suffer. I have to suffer. And actually, so it's good to not stop there. Okay, I need to suffer, but like to unpack this belief more and find out its utility and stuff. Hi, Serena. And for me, it came that, okay, I need to suffer. How? To cut myself off from love and to reject love. Basically, there's like people that are wonderful in my life that wanted to love me. They were trying to love me, and I will reject them. And I will reject love. So the punishment was to reject love and to keep creating abandonment for myself by abandoning others. So I have to create love. I have to suffer like this. The utility of that was why? I mean, there was a bunch of stuff. First, in order, because I was bad. I'm bad. I hurt women. So some kind of karma. I have to atone or something. I have to atone some Christian stuff. I'm bad. So I need to suffer in order to change that I'm bad. Or another thing was that I need to suffer to disconnect myself from love in order to be able to love. You know, so once we see this like this, it's kind of really crazy making. I need to, in order to love more fully, I need to punish myself in order to cut myself from love. You know, so investigate more that program around I need to suffer, I need to be punished. And don't land there, but find out what else, how long. I was working with Darby, me as a client, and she was like, hey, how much time do you need to suffer? I was like, oh, I don't know, let's see. And it came this like 2 months more, 2 months. I was like, where is this coming from, man? Well, but there was definitely some precision around that. So let's do some experiential work, okay? So at this point, I want to tackle this topic a bunch of times to stay with this topic. But so I would like to use this experiential process now to have a little discovery. Yeah, what are some of the deficiency identities we have around love, or the safety of love, or not trusting love, or whatever relational patterns we have, a little discovery. I'd like to look a little bit, because all of this, what's playing out now, it's going to do some imprints. I'd like to revisit some early days from the eyes of the child, see what was happening there. Also, another thing I started to do for myself is that, you know, having relational unfulfilling patterns, I was looking at mommy and daddy and love and this or that. At some point, I realized that it helps to see the relationship, the love relationship between my parents, or their so-called marriage, or their whatever they had, to see that, to investigate that, because I could see a lot of my blockages and stuff in relationship was this an attempt to not have that. I want not that. Don't, no. So I was useful to look at that. So as we are doing it like this group, I am don't know where you guys are at, so I can't be like a like whatever X-Men. And you know, if anything comes in terms of emotion, there's emotional quality in your response. As a response to the inquiry comes an emotion. I recommend you just go into rapid fire. I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm sad, I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm sad. So, you know, I recommend that if some emotion comes up as you are doing these inquiries. Now, if some type of words or pictures come, I would like slow it down more like in response to my questions, because it's not pure repression session. There's a little bit of discovery. So if some beliefs or some thoughts, some program come up, I would rather that we don't IRF it, like, oh yeah, it's not safe to love, it's not safe to love. I'd rather that we just see what it says, more like in level 1. Just see what it says. Try to make it stay by watching it. But in terms of emotional energy, I really think it's good to go into it. And yeah. All right, so how about make yourself comfortable? Yeah, and also some of you that are like, let's say, so-called traumatized by non-duality, you can just, you know, chill, relax. You don't have to, you can listen to me, you don't listen to me, just enjoy a little bit of relaxation. So just becoming more aware of the fact that the body is breathing and using this as an anchor to the now. Allowing energy to drop from the head more into the area of the belly. Just sensing the rise and fall of the belly. Just noticing those sensations, the felt sense of the air, the various sensation of the muscles, the diaphragm. Using that as an anchor into the now. If there are any thoughts, images, baiting you to think of this or that, just notice and allow. But come back to noticing how the universe is breathing us. Yeah, forget about this mindfulness of breathing as a technique. More like being open to how our true parent, the creator of coffee and of sunsets and of cats, the creator of love, that is breathing us now, right now. And allowing ourselves to just be. So there is the breathing, and there is that which is aware of the breathing. Don't need effort. Be aware. So try to catch with your awareness or to be there knowingly. There's a little interval between the exhale and the inhale. Just being there, witnessing that spaciousness. A little break, space between exhale and inhale. And as the mind gets more quiet, we can let go of focusing into anything, let go of the breathing, just noticing the inner body experience. Whatever you guys have in there, just notice and fully allow whatever is there, any agitation, any antsiness, sensation, tension. Without trying to analyze, change, especially in the chest, the belly, the throat. Yeah, let go trying to manage, change, and welcome, open the door of your being to any and all energies moving through. Notice this sense of aware openness, which is here also. These sensations, passing thoughts, they move through this space. And in this space, I would like, almost like in your mind space, to bring up a panorama of important relationships in your life, important people, whether you like them or not. You know, sometimes we are stuck with all these people, so seemingly. Friends, partner, close friends, colleagues, parents. Yeah, parents. Siblings. It's almost like a white matrix room. They don't talk to you, you don't talk to them, it's just there. And just that may bring certain reaction in your system. Just welcome and allow. So, as we look at this bunch of people, some people, we can throw this inquiry once or twice. You can also whisper it to yourself and just really see what comes up in your body, in your mind. And if there's any emotion comes in relation to this inquiry, I recommend you go into rapid fire, into the energy consciously. So seeing these people, and the inquiry is, I can feel love. I can feel love and share my affection and love freely with them all. I can love them. I can love them. I can feel love and share my affection and love freely with them all. I can love freely and I can show my affection, and show my love and affection freely with them all. Yeah, if there's any energy, notice it, and you can mine it, see what it says. It's safe to love. Just throwing a bunch of things in there. It's safe to love. I'm not afraid to love fully. It's safe to love. So you may want to hone into where you have some reaction. Some people you have some reaction, either partner or parents. Maybe narrow down your panorama. Let's stay with this some more. I'm fully open to love and closeness. I'm fully open to love and closeness. Let them into my heart. If there's any tension or resistance, notice and go beyond no. No. Go beyond the word no. No meaning what? See if there's any command in it. Don't trust. Be careful. Hold back. If you have any such things, you can go straight into rapid firing that. It's safe to love fully. It's safe to let them close. It's safe to show and feel love. If there's any objection, you can rapid fire that command or an emotion. Yeah, consciously putting those words into the energy, and something is aware of the energy and of the words. What's the utility of that, whatever that is, that protective mechanism? What's the seeming advantage or utility of whatever came up? Yeah, and then whatever that utility is, just see it. I have to do this, I have to block love, or I have to be careful or something, so that see it from awareness, words. And take a moment to also now notice the sense of aware space in which these energies are moving through. And let's try some more here. I can be fully intimate and emotionally honest with this core relationship. I can be fully intimate and emotionally honest. Be fully intimate and emotionally honest. If there's any energy or anything, mine it out, see what it says. There might be a command or a feeling in it. And rapid fire that into the energy. There's any strong energy coming up for you or any discomfort, it's okay to feel and allow this now fully. It's okay to feel and allow this now fully. You can go back into there's more energy in it. You can go back into the emotion, whatever, I'm afraid, I'm sad. Or if it dies down, you can recharge it. I want to be fully intimate and emotionally honest. It's safe to be emotionally honest, transparent, open to this relationship. Yeah, take a moment as the energies wind down, if they do, also to acknowledge this sense of globally being this presence that we are. Yeah, there's energies, thoughts, sounds, and something is aware of them, willing to feel them. So just take a moment to take a one deep inhale, deep exhale. And seeing this primary relationship or these people, we can do another inquiry. I'm not afraid of hurt, loss, or rejection. I'm not afraid at all. I'm not at all afraid of hurt, loss, and rejection. Not afraid to lose this relationship. If there's any energy, go straight into I'm afraid, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm afraid. If you have anything like that, even if it's subtle. And then look into your experience in your life. How did you have to be and do to protect yourself from hurt, rejection, and loss? How did you protect yourself from that? Allow any memories, images, insights. So at this point, I would like us to kind of go a little bit, feel your seat on the chair and the sensations of the contact with the seat and the feet on the ground, and connect to that, because I would like to use that as a time machine. As you feel the feet on the ground and the seat on the chair, let that take you back in time. Time machine, time chair. To a time when your body was smaller, and you were watching your mommy and daddy and the family of origin. You are safe. Already what happened, you survived. So you are totally survived. Good job. And we are just looking at some video footage. And observe their relationship. That's where we learned about love, how they were with each other. The love of absence of it. Notice and allow memories, images of them, how their love played out. Was it peaceful? Was it safe? Was it violent? Was it hurtful? What was the little you watching them? There's any energy, sensation arising in you that are unpleasant, or just notice, welcome. So old memories, these energies. Thank you for coming. You can stay as long as you need to these energies. What was the message that the little you got about what it means to be in a relationship, what programs you inherited, in which way you became perhaps like your mother and your father? Or in which way you tried so much to not be like them that you went somewhere else? Yeah, and just being here, present to whatever is naturally moving through. So seeing them and seeing yourself in this family of origin. Some of us might have several people or broken family, or you can see them all both. So seeing what's happening from the eyes of the child, let's try this inquiry, like it's a litmus test about this area. I could feel and share love and affection freely in that family. Or we could feel and share love and affection freely in that family. And if there is any sense of a no, notice in the body, welcome that, and let it tell you, no, why not? Why not? And how did you need to be? What did you need to do with your love, with your affection, if you had any? Why not? You could feel and share love and affection freely in that family. And if there is a no, there is in our nervous system some potential command. So how do I need to be then? It means like be careful. I have to be careful, be careful, I have to be careful. Don't show, don't show, be careful. You can do some rapid fire of this command into the energy. And what's the emotion behind it? What emotion was the little you feeling in connection to this love, unsafety, or I could trust love. I could trust their love. I could trust their love. I trust love fully. Meet any energy, see what it says. If it's an emotion, we can rapid fire into the energy. Or if it's a command. What is the seeming utility of that program? Whatever that came for you. What's the seeming advantage or seeming utility, which was actually very helpful in childhood? To avoid whatever, avoid their anger, avoid them being upset, to protect myself, to whatever. How does this play out now? How and in which way is protecting oneself from love, closeness, blocking, whatever, how does it play out now, if any? Maybe you transcended it. Why not? What pattern is still active? So this is just more like whatever comes in your consciousness, let it come. You just notice, you can bookmark, make a note. What's the disadvantage, the cost of maintaining this now? Maintaining this subconsciously, what's the disadvantage and the cost? Welcome whatever words, memories, sensations. Something is aware of this stuff. safe to feel. And let's do like one final thing here. Whatever you witnessed, whatever we witnessed, and was happening in our family there. What did it mean about you, about love? So if we were to boomerang the dynamic we witness day in and day out, what did it mean about you? Or what limiting, imagined limitation program has been developed? Whatever that is, slow it down, just watch it, put it on a lit screen. It's a thought, it's a name of a program. Whatever, I have to be careful, I have to hold back, I'm unlovable, whatever. And see that from what you are, this which is aware right now. And the final thing, really the last thing, see what comes up if you say this. It's safe to let that go. I don't need this anymore. It's safe to let that go. It's okay, whatever comes. Safe to let that go. And if there's any objection, go into I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm afraid, I'm afraid. I need it, I need it, I need it. Afraid. See what's the utility of that still. Whatever comes is okay, just meeting it. Let's just final few seconds. Also, we can check now your experience. Yeah, we stirred a bunch of stuff. We stirred painful things, there are energies there. What are we dealing with here now? It's some energy, some sensations, some memories. Check experientially right now. Am I this stuff that were drummed up? Or am I that, whatever it is, which is aware of it? Which one is me that stays? The real me that stays in 5 minutes, in 15 minutes. Am I these energies that I'm totally willing to feel? Or am I that which perceives them, yet unscratched by them ultimately? However, they will need to let them devour us to see that they can't. So at this point, I would like you to zoom out from any sensation or any particular object in your inner world and tune into this sense of the fact of being aware now. It's fine to open your eyes. Enjoying natural high being. especially after we face some shit. Usually it's a little lighter. So I would like to open now the floor for any, if you want to share whatever you found or how it went, whatever you discovered in your, exploration around this, or whatever commands you discovered, or whatever is lurking there that is not so yummy and relaxed about love and closeness. Or any question or anything at all. So you guys are on mute. So if anybody would like to share something, and I'm interested to hear from you. Insights, comments, observation, questions.
I think for me, I don't know that it was so much of a command, but it just said your love is not wanted. No one wants your love. And then when I like zoomed in with my family, there was so much confusion. Like clearly I wasn't aware that my love was unwanted. But there was no sense of feeling loved or that there was love anywhere. Like it just was a complete void there. So yeah, it's interesting how these things come up, out of that massive confusion of the dynamics in the family. Just
Yeah. I mean, from one angle, I studied a lot of fourth way Gurdjieff work, and Gurdjieff was saying that a man asleep cannot love. Man machine cannot love. So it seems like love, but it's not. It's I guess that's why the Greeks had all these dialogues, different meanings of love and different styles of love. And I think the more conscious we are, the more we can love. And also, if we have been lucky to receive, we have someone in our life who was attuned to us, they say, were attuned to us and really have this transmission of lovingness that's helpful. We can have it later with a teacher, a facilitator, a friend, something. Margaret?
Yeah, I had a similar experience to Maria in some ways, but and I have a hard time following the guided meditations, but at the very, very end, the command I got was obey.
Obey.
And there's a lot of emotion because it just feels like that was much more important to my, than for my mother anyway, to anything else. Do what I tell you, behave, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm not even sure really how to use that command because it just, I don't know if I've kind of gotten an identity of it, of like, that's all I can do is obey. So anyway,
This is something you recently discovered, or this is
just now.
Wait,
I mean,
okay.
it makes total sense, but it
Mhm.
coming as a command like that is kind of superseding everything else.
So I would kind of unpack this some more, like, obey, let the word be here, which is kind of like almost like a dystopian movie, but like obey, okay, obey, and just watching this. What's that supposed to mean? Let it unpack more. It may say more. Well, you got to do this, or you got to do that, or
Yeah. Okay.
then, okay, what's the utility of this? So this is some kind of relational safety program. I guess I sense
Sure.
there's fear underneath that. Like what, I guess makes sense. It's like, oh, fuck, okay, I have to obey. So it's a from one angle, it's a repression command. And in order to obey, you needed to stifle aspects of yourself. So obey, it's almost like a flag that says, hey, there is some kind of repression of self here.
Yeah.
So what was it that you needed to not show, not feel, not express in order to obey?
Yeah. Pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm not sure where you're at now, but like having relationship or people putting this and bringing them up, and even past relationship, you can capitalize on this, look at them. I don't have to obey them. I can fully be myself. I don't have to obey. There will be you poke the bear, it will come something. No, I have to see what you need to be, or the emotion in there. So you have access to repression work. I don't have to obey anymore. I can be free of this. It's safe to fully be myself. So, the obey is the opposite of being fully yourself, authentic and stuff. So I think that it gives you a handle on, you can poke a bunch of bears with that obey.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, then you go into, well, I'm not sad about that. I'm not. So go into various emotions around the fact that you need to obey, which from one angle is developmental trauma. I'm not sad. I'm not angry. I'm not afraid. Milk some of these energies of the child, and see where is it playing out now, or in the relationships and stuff. And so besides inquiry, what I like, besides doing inquiry in your closet, try to show up differently operationally, because we are going to stretches that you can have the bottom in two boats. I'm doing inquiry, repression inquiry here, but at 6 p.m. I'm fake and inauthentic. So I'm going to stretch and it's going to be uncomfortable. Yeah, so any of this in terms of love, intimacy, repression, like these are good ones for, I guess, in enhancing your ability to. We can't really have healthy. I mean, like, the true, like, healthy love is like more like connected to friendship. Like a good friend, I let them be. I see them, I respect them. I don't try to change them. I see and appreciate them. I see them as myself. So, and in order to have that, in order to be open to show myself, to reveal myself, so some inquiries that can chip at the armor would be like, I can show myself completely. It's safe to be vulnerable. I can let them see me.
Yeah. I don't think I'm looking for anything more. Thank you.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, feel free to share or anything at all. We have a few more minutes. Yes, Maria.
Just a question. So because like the emotional landscape in my family was so treacherous, only like parents were able to have and express any emotions. It felt like a minefield, constantly walking on eggshells. So there was, and at the age of 10, I became like that. I started to be depressed. So I had this intense depression. Um, and I haven't really explored depression lately, but is that a symptom of like almost every emotional repression lumped together, like when just everything is depressed or repressed? It seems to be related to the love repression for sure, but it was like how do I love when we can't have sadness, we can't have anger, but our parents can have all of this stuff. And we're punished if we have anything, we feel anything.
Yeah. Yeah, although I'm I'm in the clinical world and it's so common depression, this is a bunch of mixture of stuff. It could be that some heavy deficiency identity that is sad, in some deficiency story. So if I believe that story, then it's sad and it's hopeless and it's like draining. Also, anger not being allowed, or hatred not being allowed, or emotion not being allowed, depression. It's a sense of depression. Also, not allowing oneself to be free. This kind of boredom or flatness, not doing what we really want to be doing, that contributes to this. So I guess there's a lot of either the deficiency identity story or some repression of self within this so-called depression. Part of the healing, we don't talk about so much in KI, although I was talking to Serena, and so this is from Hakomi. There, it's very similar to KI in a way that there's a closed eye, awareness-based investigation and all of that, slow. There's overlap with that, big overlap. But they were saying that part of the healing is that, there's this investigation which brings up some release, and we see certain core program that are not true and they diminish. But important part of the healing is to have the so-called missing experience, meaning that part of the wounding is that we needed something, but we didn't have it as a child, or we didn't need something and we got something that we didn't need. So it's important to somehow, part of the healing is to find what is the missing experience for you, and somehow that can happen later. Let's say for me, I felt like in my family of origin, I couldn't be myself. I had to be careful, especially I had some transitions in my life, but from 6 onward, I felt like I have to be in a certain way. I can't be, if we are together as the family, I can't be myself. I have to be careful. I have to be guarded. I have to be perfect. So there's a stress in the system around closeness, because there's so the missing experience, one can have it later with a friend or a lover or something. Oh, I can be close and I can be myself now. I can let you in. We are really close. And I don't have to do anything. So it depends of the wounding. We have some missing experience. And if this happens even with one person, it's almost something settles in our system, even if it's later. Like sometimes as a child, we had to be perfect or something. We couldn't be messy. So just being messy, or yeah, just play with this concept of missing experience. So in terms of love, some inquiries I want to do later, because basically all that happened with the big people projects on our relationship to God. So then we now project all of this human shit on God. So some interesting inquiry. Yeah, I basically I realized that the anger, sadness, and all of this fear, repression has no choice but to have love, repression, and God repression. And yeah, and that's not, there's a big cap on our happiness if we have God repression. All right. Well, I think I'm going to post this a little later to the members area. And also in terms of something practical to do, to chip at it, you know, I have a bunch of guided processes to unpack these relational patterns, yeah. So I can probably put it here. I can put it there. So look out for some playlist where I have maybe like 6 or 7 or 10 guided somatic guided meditations, but I'm going to bring up patterns, more specific patterns using KI or other somatic tools that you can loosen up and discharge in a guided process. Yeah, targeting relational patterns that create unfulfillment. All right, everyone. Nice to see you and see you around. Ciao.
Thanks, Mihai.
Thanks, Mihai.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. It was so helpful.
Oh, I will put these things, I will put in a members area, this recording as well as these guided processes about relational patterns. I'll put them in the next day or so. Yeah? Okay. Ciao, ciao.